Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path.
Good morning again. Thank you for joining us. We are in Psalm 95 as we read and reflect through the Psalms here with the Pleasant Plains group in Jackson. Let's read Psalm 95. I'm in the ESV. Verse 1. O come, let us sing to the Lord. Let us make a joyful noise to the rock of our salvation. Let us come into his presence with thanksgiving. Let us make a joyful noise to him with songs of praise. For the Lord is a great God and a great King above all gods. In his hand are the depths of the earth. The heights of the mountain are also his. The sea is his, for he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. O come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord our Maker, for he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture and the sheep of his hand. Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts as at Meribah, as on the day at Massah in the wilderness, when your fathers put me to the test and put me to the proof, though they had seen my work. For 40 years I loathed that generation and said, they are a people who go astray in their heart, and they have not known my ways. Therefore I swore in my wrath, they shall not enter my rest. Scholars usually group these psalms, Psalm 95 through 100, as liturgical psalms designed for use by the Israelites as they gathered for their Sabbath day worship. And it does indeed seem like this is a call to worship. In verse 3, this call to worship a great God, a great King above all gods. And this is the overriding fact, the ultimate truth, that the God we serve is the only God. He is the beginning and the end, the first and the last, Yahweh, rock, refuge, high tower, our salvation, the creator and sustainer of everything. And when you compare these pagan gods with the one true God of heaven, well, there is no comparison. He is a great king above all gods. He is the creator. Ocean caves and mighty mountain peaks alike, they are gods. The mighty palm trees all the way down to the dandelion, they are his. They were made by him. He protects them and uses all of them. Indeed, as we record this message today, there's an ongoing modern space race among a few billionaires. And they cannot help but wonder at the measureless light-year distances of the universe in which we live. But it is so large and so limitless that even the imagination of men can't reach the edge of it. This is, of course, evidence of God's limitless glory. And although it's a fact that we're always in the presence of God in the ultimate sense, when people gather to worship together, we're in a special way in the presence of God. And in light of this, these verses are a beautiful and a proper call to worship, even in the church today. Coming before God with thanksgiving and praise and awe. This is the very essence of worship. Last, I think if I could summarize this last portion, we need to learn from these failed generations of the past. Do not harden our hearts as those did at Meribah. See, the children of Israel, they constantly murmured and complained against our God. They tested him. They complained, asking, is God among us or not? These hard-hearted people saw the work of God. They saw him through the plagues of Egypt. They saw him in the deliverance there in walking through the Red Sea. And they saw him as Moses struck that rock and miraculously water gushed from it. You see, there's only two exceptions that survived the death of this generation back in the wilderness. That was Caleb and Joshua. And these two symbolize the few that'll be saved in the legions of supposed believers today. And these verses are quoted in Hebrews chapter 3 and chapter 4. I only want to read chapter 4, verses 9 and verse 11. Hebrews 4, verse 9. So then there remains a Sabbath rest for the people of God. Verse 11. Let us therefore strive to enter that rest, so that no one may fall by the same sort of disobedience. That disobedience being the example of Israel. In short, We should learn from these so that we don't fail similarly. We can learn that the gate is narrow, that the way is hard that leads to life, and those who find it are few. That's Matthew 7, verse 14. So I hope you've gained something from our study this morning of Psalm 95. Go have a great day.